In this webcast, Walt is going to give you the recipe to grow your business beyond your wildest dream. Let's go. Hey everybody, this is Antoine Dupont with Catapult Marketing, and this is webcast number 38. And we have a special guest today, all the way from Ireland, Walt Hampton. Hi Walt, how are you?
Hey, Antoine, I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. Walt is the president and CEO of a company, a little known company called Book Yourself Solid. They have several books and webinars and online courses, and they have coaches all over the world that teach the Book Yourself Solid method. So for the few people that don't know you, Walt, please introduce yourself and tell us why you get up in the morning.
Well, Antoine, thank you so much. And I do get up every morning excited and on fire because I love what I do. I get to help people all over the world create work and lives they love and make the money they want and they deserve. And it's just fun to be able to help people actualize that like that and grow their businesses in a way that makes them happy and joyful.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. And but you're American, I know that. And but you live in Ireland now. So tell us, how did you come to live in Ireland? Why are you over there?
Well, because I can. You know, when we create our work and our life that we love, we can create it so that we can have the lifestyle we want. And I believe that we ought to create the life we want along with the work that we want. And my business partner and wife, Anne, and I honeymooned here 11 years ago. We fell in love with it and we decided to stay. We've got a great internet connection, and that's all that's required.
That's very cool. So that's for all of us business owners that are working hard every day to achieve our dreams. You're just an example of that. You built yourself a great business, and now you can live anywhere you want, including Ireland, which is really, really cool. I love to see your pictures. You share with us your run in the morning and beautiful scenery. So thanks for sharing that.
Thank you, Antoine.
For us.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so today we're talking about, to all of you guys, business owners, the pain and challenges around not getting enough clients or not making enough money. Does that relate to any of you? I don't just, so, or what would happen is what I would describe for a lot of business owners is the ups and downs, right? So you're getting a whole bunch of business.
The entrepreneurial roller coaster.
Right. So, we're going to be talking about maybe doing something that the roller coaster, there's still going to be a roller coaster, but maybe it doesn't go, well, it can go high, but it's not going to go as low as you're used to. So in the Book Yourself Solid method, again, I'm plugging this beautiful book here. It's kind of like a recipe, the way to describe it. It's the recipe on how to grow your business in terms of like, okay, you need, eggs, flour, and milk. And, if you put the milk before you put the eggs, it's just not going to turn out quite as well. So I wanted you to share with us today, the three things in the recipe that's going to help us make a difference, not in 6 months from now, but literally things that we can implement like this week. Okay. So we talked about, before we went live, we talked about three things. And the first one is the avatar. So what is an avatar and why do I even need that?
So let me set the context first, Antoine, because I think the context is important. There are a lot of business building methods, as you call them, or systems, as we call Book Yourself Solid, that come and go. Book Yourself Solid is the original business building system that goes back to 2003 and is the subject of Michael Port's mega best-selling book, Book Yourself Solid. Now across the world have impacted nearly 750,000 small business owners. It is, in fact, the fastest, easiest, most reliable system for getting more clients and customers than you can handle, even if you hate marketing and selling, which I once did. And it is, as you suggest, a formula, a recipe, a system, a repeatable system. And as you said in your beautiful introduction, it is a system by which you can get rid of the peaks and valleys. You can see steady growth. You can have all of the clients that you want if you work the recipe. And it works just 100% of the time when you follow the recipe. And Book Yourself Solid, as I had shared with you before we went live today, is based upon 4 modules, 16 building blocks. But it's really important to understand that it's based upon both philosophical and practical principles. And the philosophical principles of Book Yourself Solid are these, and it relates to your question about avatar. The first philosophical question is that there are certain people that we're meant to serve in the world, and others not so much. Certain people that we're meant to serve, and others not so much. The second philosophical principle of Book Yourself Solid is that it is a love story disguised as a business system, a love story between you and those clients that you're meant to serve, and a love story between you and your business, because if we're not loving our business, we ought to be doing something else. And perhaps even a love story between you and marketing, which I frankly found difficult to believe at the outset, but came to find that it was true.
Right.
And then the practical principle of Book Yourself Solid is this, and it's such a disruptive principle. And it's important for your audience to hear it. Marketing doesn't get us clients. Marketing isn't what gets us the clients. Marketing creates awareness of who we are and what we do in the world. When someone becomes aware of an Antoine or a Walt, they come and they check us out. They check out what we call your foundation. The outward expressions of our business foundations are usually our LinkedIn profiles and our websites, usually in that order. And that potential client asks one and only one question. Can this person, Antoine, can this person, Walt, help me solve my problem? Yes or no? The research shows we have 6 seconds to answer that question.
Yeah, you're generous. I think it's more like 3 or 4.
So if that question can't be answered, if it's fuzzy, they're gone. If the answer is no, they're gone. If the answer is yes, then that potential client will give us the opportunity to do what actually begins to get us the business, and that's to begin to grow relationship, to develop trust and credibility with that potential client over time.
Yeah.
And when the time is right for that client, not for you, but when the time is right, and when you've built sufficient trust and credibility, because clients do business with people they know, like, and trust,
right,
then that potential client will put up her hand or his hand and say, let's have a sales conversation.
Right.
And if you know how to price your offerings, and if you know how to have a powerful sales conversation, you will book the business. And this happens over and over and over again, which is why Book Yourself Solid is a systematic way for getting more clients and customers than you can handle, even if you hate marketing and selling. So you do a little bit of marketing. They come and they check out your foundation, which you want to be strong. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. You do some trust and credibility building. That's module 2 of Book Yourself Solid. You learn how to price your offerings and have powerful sales conversations. That's module 3. You book the business. Do a little bit of marketing. We teach 6 core self-promotion strategies marketing. You do some marketing. They come and they check out your foundation. Can you help me solve my problem? Yes. You invite them in. You build trust and credibility with them over time. They raise their hands. They want to have a sales conversation. You know how to do that. You know how to price your offerings in the sweet spot. You book the business. That's the Book Yourself Solid system. And it worked. I have seen it work in my life. I went from really struggling to replacing my 6-figure draw as a law firm managing partner inside of 11 months. I have taken entrepreneurs from 0 to mid 6 figures inside of a year. This system works. Now, we were talking at the beginning, so that's a lot, 16 modules, a lot to cover in a 20-minute, 30-minute podcast or interview. So what could people do to get started?
Right.
When I get called,
they could go and buy the book.
They could, but my book sat on my shelf for for 3 years before I opened it. So that's not particularly useful.
Okay,
Antoine.
okay. True story.
You actually have to open the book and use it,
Right.
which took me 3.5 years and some serious coaching. So whenever I get called in and a client is not getting enough clients or making enough money, that there is the entrepreneurial roller coaster. And I don't care whether this is an existing business or a new business. I usually discover that there are cracks in the foundation. Now, the foundation being module 1 of Book Yourself Solid. A foundation, the word is used intentionally. You pour a foundation, you pour your footings. The foundation is the thing on which your business sits. And the outward expressions, that we have 4 building blocks of your foundation and Book Yourself Solid. The outward expressions, after you've done all of the internal work around the foundation, are usually reflected in your LinkedIn profile and your website. But let's get the 3 things nailed down. We talked about avatar. Well, the first building block of module 1 speaks to that core philosophical principle of Book Yourself Solid, that there are certain people we're meant to serve and others not so much. And our job is to go out into the world and find those people we're meant to serve and not worry about the other ones. So we want, in the very first instance, to decide, this is a conscious decision, who do we do our best work with? Who do we like to work with? Who do we like to hang out with? For me, I like to use the F word. Who do I like to have fun with? Who do I enjoy?
This is a clean show, man. Keep it clean, please.
Keep it clean. So when I only work with a handful of clients at a time, but I'll tell you, every time I see somebody's name on the calendar, I get excited because I love working with my clients. I absolutely love these people. So who do you do your best work with? And so module 1, building block 1 is your red velvet rope policy. And the metaphor comes from seeing those swanky clubs in New York and Paris. You know, you see the red carpet, you see the red velvet rope. Certain people get in and certain people don't get in. We only want to let in those people that we do our very best work with. And so when we are working with our favorite people, a number of things happen. Number 1, we get excited about our work. Number 2, we do our very best work because we're excited about our work. Number 3, the client gets the benefit of our very best work. Number 4, the client is satisfied because she or he is getting the benefit of our very best work. And number 5, this is best of all, the client goes away happy and satisfied and talking about us, and there's no better marketing on the planet than a happy, satisfied client talking about us.
Indeed.
So getting clear, so principle number 1 is get clear on who you do your very best work with. And get rid of the people that you don't do your very best work with.
And I guess you could add is, or define who you're not a good fit for. You could also define that. You may have like, okay, this is the ideal client for me, and this is really the types of people or the types of businesses that I don't want to work with. So actually, when it shows up, you recognize it and you say, oh, they actually fit the model of people I don't want to work with. So immediately the red flag goes up and say, you know what, let me give you the name of my competition or someone else, and they'll be a good fit for you because I'm not. Actually, this is really
that's brilliant. That's brilliant, Antoine, because that we do use the red velvet rope policy then as a filter that we run during a client or customer intake. Is this somebody who's a good fit or not? And you're right. If it's a not so much person, we refer that person out.
Right, and I can tell you, like, and the number of times I've made that mistakes, and it never pays off. And I've always I've always picked the wrong client for the wrong decision. And it felt like it was the right decision, which is mostly like we need the cash flow, so it's going to be a client, but deep down inside, it's not a good fit. You take the client and you end up regretting it. There's a thing I've heard. No, go ahead.
And you end up using up the precious space, the bandwidth, physically and mentally, that could have been left and open for that ideal client.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And I actually heard Paul Dunn He's a TEDx speaker. You can look it up, but he said something to the effect of success is what you say no to. And I was like,
Steve Jobs said he was as proud of the thousands of things that he had said no to as the very few things that he had said yes to. I think saying no is one of the most powerful of all success principles.
So I guess the definition of the avatar, to wrap up this thing, is really get super clear of what you say yes to and what you say no to in terms of the clients. Like you have to have an enormous amount of clarity. And I think that for any business owners out there, just get a pad of paper and a pen, and then just write split the page in two. And then put, good fit, not a good fit, and then start writing. Leave that pad of paper on the on your desk, and then just start writing. So at the end of the week, you will have clearly defined who's a good fit for you, and who is not. Actually, one of them for us, we have in there is people that pay on time. It's just as silly as it is.
Pay on time.
Yeah, but it's just like, you've have some clients, it's constantly delayed payment and whatnot. It's a pain in the rear. You have to chase them and everything. And so we've put that in the column of what we want. We actually want people that pay on time, which means that they're giving us a credit card. We have it on file and we can, hit it when it's time to hit the card. But just those are important. Another one that I have for me is, because I've suffered through that through the years in businesses. I want people that are respectful of me and my staff. I don't want people that are mean-spirited and that are nasty and whatnot. I just won't tolerate it. So there's a quick example. And for me as an agency also is people that they value actually internet marketing, or there's a sense of they're seeing something they want. Like if I'm going to have to convince them day in and day out that there is opportunities for them in internet marketing, it's not going to be fun, right? So that's it. So this is great.
To be fun.
Yeah, this is great. So the avatar, which is define who is a great fit for you, who you want to play with, who you want to have fun, and who you just are excited to have as a client. Now, the second thing, which it always confuses me with book yourself, so it used to confuse me. Now I kind of know the thing, but it's avatar and target market. So you have that as being different. And I remember it's like, what's different between an avatar and a target market? But you have it as a different distinction. So what do you mean by target market?
So the red velvet rope policy, figuring out that ideal client, that avatar, is all about the characteristics of that person or that entity. Right. For me, it's somebody who was forward thinking, who was adventuresome and fun, who's not afraid to take risk. And these people could come from many different walks of life. They could be internet marketers, or they could be oil painters, or they could be, the types of people that we resonate with can walk in many different walks of life. The target market is that particular narrow area where our potential client lives and works. And it's usually a defined marketplace, like for me initially, lawyers, could be wealth managers, it could be oil painters, it could be car mechanics. So it is an already existing marketplace. And within that marketplace, so if I say I help lawyers, but I'm still running my red velvet rope filter. Are these?
You still there, Walt?
Enjoy working with, or that somebody would be fun, who would honor the work that I do.
Sorry, time out. Say that again, because your internet connection is unstable. Okay, I'm just getting that. So you broke out. So start again with so within lawyers, you said that because the screen froze, and I'll edit this out. So you were talking about target market lawyers, and then within lawyers. So start again with that, please.
So within the category of lawyers, Antoine, then I would still run my red velvet rope policy.
Right.
Is this a potential lawyer that I would like to work with?
Mm-hmm.
If my target market was wealth manager, or is this a wealth manager that would be fun, who would that I would enjoy working with? If it was an internet marketer, you'd ask, is this an internet marketer that would value what I do? So you're still running the red velvet rope policy, but it's in a defined market. Now, we want a target market for a number of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
There is an entrepreneurial paradox.
Right.
And it's a great paradox. It is the paradox that narrow is power. We know this as consumers. If, God forbid, you get off this call today and you discover that somebody you care about, a 28-year-old nephew, has an aortic stenosis since birth and needs a cardiologist, and you go out into the world and get 3 people, because that's what we do. We get the general cardiologist from the local community. You get the cardiologist who's on the staff of the University Hospital. Then you get the cardiologist who's done nothing for the last 15 years other than aortic stenoses in 28-year-old men. All things being equal, we go narrow. As entrepreneurs, for some reason, most of us don't get that. We're like, we help everybody. Anybody with a pulse and a checkbook, as we say in
right.
in World.
I often ask this question to business owners with marketing, like, who's your target market? And they'll say, people in South Florida.
People.
I'm like, can we try to narrow it down a little bit? People, yeah.
But you see, with a target market, we know where they hang out. So lawyers, my background, lawyers, they have lawyer associations, local, state, and regional. They have lawyer publications. They have lawyer groups and networks. They have lawyer outings. We can piggyback on already existing modalities of communication with a target market.
That's right. Or golf course, for example.
In a particular target market, we also are communicating to that market that we're for them, and they see us that way. And so there's real power in identifying a target market. I don't need to wonder where to do my marketing.
Right.
I can show up in a bar journal once a month. I can do my networking at lawyer meetings. I don't have to, it's not uncertain where my marketing gets done with a target market.
Yeah. So what would you say to people that have a hard time picking a target market? Because I have seen that, like, people are afraid to be pigeonholed in a specific target market. What would you say to that?
I would say this. Are you ready for this? This is really important.
Right.
And it's a little bit subtle. So let's just everybody lean in a little bit. I would say, pick one.
Pick one.
Pick one. So and you're right to call this out, Antoine, because I have had even coaching students struggle for like years on this, wondering, should it be this or should it be that? Pick one. Go with it.
Yeah,
just do it.
It's your indecision that gets in the way. Well, and I guess it's what's underneath this is the fear of making a mistake. And then, so what if you make a mistake?
Yeah, but and so what? You can, but just pick one. And the market always speaks to us. If you give it enough time and you listen, the market will tell you. But pick one. And the beautiful thing is, if you adopt the paradox of narrow, go an inch wide and a mile deep, and get really clear on who you help, the market likes that clarity. And as we say in Book Yourself Solid, and this happened to me, as soon as Michael Port pinned me down, he said, it's lawyers. I don't like lawyers, Michael. I don't care. Pick one. It's lawyers. Okay, it's lawyers. I help lawyers. As soon as I said I help lawyers, I got booked solid. But what was interesting is it wasn't just with lawyers. There were wealth managers. There were brand strategists. They said, as we say in Book Yourself Solid, I know you help lawyers, but can you help me?
Isn't that funny?
So it doesn't, well, the market loves clarity and certainty. The market doesn't like vagueness. It doesn't like uncertainty. We've all been at that internet or that networking function where you're having the conversation and you're about to exchange cards, and they pull out a card, they give you their card, they get a big smile, and then they go, oh, and I got this card too. And then you've got 2 cards. And they all say, well, I do this as well. Then you got 3 cards. It's like, wow, what do you do?
Wow, yeah. How many jobs do you have?
It's like, that's not sexy. That's not attractive.
Yeah, I also do balloon carving at bar mitzvahs, right? And you're a lawyer too. I'm like, okay, wait a second.
So pick one.
Just
pick one and go with it. And then when you get book solid, guess what? You've got the latitude and the freedom to expand your marketplace. So now I work with entrepreneurs across the spectrum, coaching them. And that's great. I have a lot of lawyers because that's my background, but I don't work just with lawyers. But in the beginning, go narrow.
That's very cool. So it's like what you're talking about is don't go wide, go deep. Which I have heard, like, and that's what you're trying to do. Is a lot of people go wide, but it's like actually go deep in a thing. So this I love
Walmart. This is not a plug for Walmart, but I'm getting on the plane on Wednesday to go to the United States because I got to go to Walmart. Get anything on Walmart.
Yeah.
And Walmart's a great business model unless you want to get book solid as a coach or a consultant or whatever. As an internet marketer, you're not going to get book solid being a Walmart.
You're not going to be able to do that. So this is really cool. So number 1 was avatar. Number 2 is target market. And then number 3 is niche. Talk to me about that niche. What do you mean by get clear with your niche?
The problem you solve. What is the problem you solve? Every engagement, I don't care what it is about problem and solution. Your toilet is spewing, you know what? You have a problem. Your filling has come out, you have a problem. Your car won't start, you have a problem. You have a kitchen you want remodeled, you have a problem. Problem, solution. Every engagement is about a problem and a solution. What is the problem you want to solve? And we talked a little bit about this before we went live. What is the problem that the potential client is experiencing in his or her own language? We sit here as entrepreneurs and professionals, and we, in our wisdom, know what our clients need, except that what our clients need isn't always what they want. They have particular problems that they're thinking about, and those problems are problems that they have in their own minds, and they're using language around those problems. And the great internet marketer Evan Pagan would say that those problems fall within 3 categories. And I won't use his crude modality for it, but it's really around relationships, finance, and losing weight, health and wellness. There are really only 3 big marketplaces. So we talk about creating a who and do what and book yourself solid. So I help lawyers target market, do what? Get more clients and make more money. Now I say I help entrepreneurs and business professionals get more clients and make more money. You don't have enough clients or money, I can help you.
Right.
Some people, if you were a health coach, I help professional women lose weight. I help professional men lose weight, or I help entrepreneurs grow their wealth. If wealth was building your wealth was something, or I help men get out of their own way so they develop relationships. We're relationship market. Now,
very, very cool.
I'm going to give you the nuances are these. Oftentimes, as coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs, we fall in love with our process.
Don't we?
We love the way we do it. I love book yourself solid, but I don't say I help lawyers learn book yourself solid. They go, what? Book yourselves what?
I don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that.
So think about the process as the airplane you take for your beautiful Hawaiian destination vacation.
Right.
You're not selling somebody the Airbus or the Boeing 747. You're selling them the destination of Hawaii. I help you get to Hawaii.
Right.
I don't help you enjoy your flight on the Boeing.
No.
So we fall in love with the process. You know, a friend of mine, Pamela Bruner in the United States, brilliant social media marketing entrepreneur. She is a master practitioner in EFT, emotional freedom technique, tapping. I've got a buddy here in Ireland, who is a master practitioner of EFT. She's probably got more training and depth than my dear friend Pamela. But Sai here in Ireland, she is poor as dirt because she likes to go out and sell EFT, and everybody goes, "What's that? What's tapping?" Pamela helps entrepreneurs make a lot of money. Oh, I want that.
I want that.
One of her modalities of helping people clear their head trash is through tapping, EFT.
That's right.
Sell that in the first instance.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, I don't want EFT. I don't want book yourself solid. I don't want any of the method.
I want more clients. I want more money.
I want more money. I want better relationship.
We don't have to over-engineer this. It's what our clients want in their language. And I promised I would tell you the ninja trick for finding out what your clients want. This is so ninja. Most people never ever even think about it. It's like such a subtle. It is so subtle.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. Get ready to take it down. I'm not going to repeat it. Okay. You ask.
No way.
Yes, way.
You ask.
The more we ask, the more we know. I'm coaching with Jeff Walker this year, the brilliant Jeff Walker. One of his Platinum Plus students is Ryan Lebeck, who wrote the Ask Method. But part of Jeff's brilliance is he thinks about a product or a program. He thinks, this would be a good product or program. And he goes out to his marketplace and he says, marketplace, I'm thinking about creating a product or program that does this. If I were to do this, what would serve you? He goes out and he asks, does surveys, he talks to people, he listens, he writes it down. Then he goes back to his workshop and he creates his product and his program. He writes the copy using that language. And then he goes out with his product and program and people go, oh my God, that's exactly what I need. Well, how did you know?
How did you know? You brilliant. You're
brilliant.
Yeah, ask questions. Yeah, and again, what is so frustrating with this is the simplicity of it. It's just so simple. Just ask. I think we spend way too much time thinking we have the answer. Or we think we know what they need, which is the mistake. So what I see for me and inside of that, what you said is like, I cannot tell you the number of websites that are displayed or that actually are putting in the front what they do and what people need. And it's the failing recipe. And instead is like what they want and what they're going to get. Which is, it's a subtle difference, but it makes, nobody wants a business coach. Or I see it a lot actually in public speakers because I've seen their website. It says speaker entrepreneur. And I'm like, of course you're a speaker. I know that, it says, I can see you on stage speaking. So, but what do I get?
I teach speakers how to get gigs and make money. And when I teach Book Yourself Solid for speakers, one of the very first things I say is I've got some bad news. Nobody buys a speaker.
Nobody buys a speaker.
Days of hiring speakers, days of buying a speaker, great motivational speakers is gone.
Right. So it's basically,
you want to buy a solution to a problem for their audience or organization.
Right. Absolutely.
So as a speaker, what is the problem you solve?
That's right. Yeah, and you're absolutely, yeah, it needs to be rooted in a problem. So I'm looking at the time and I know you got the hard stop, so I'm going to wrap it up. This was really, really, really cool, Walt. So we talked about three things. We talked about the avatar, the red velvet rope policy. We talked about a target market. Don't go wide, go deep, like really know the industry that you're going to go after and define them. And then the number three was niche. What is the problem you solve? And these are the 3 things you can do this week. You know, get a pad of paper, get a pencil, get a pen, and start to write this stuff down, because it's going to make a huge difference. It is so simple. But once you define that and you just actually pick a target market, you're super clear on your red velvet road policy, who is a good fit for you, who is not, and then you know the problem you solve, I would say you're almost there. You've got, I mean, you are
heavy lifting.
You're the heavy lifting, because you're so far ahead of your competition. Because if you look at your go and look at your website, you know, does it actually says the problem you solve? So this was really, really, really cool. Now, I'd like to hear from you guys out there listening. If you have questions, comments, or anything, things you disagree with, or things you agree, or things you'd like to add, put them in the comments right below. Walt, if people want to learn more about you and what you're about and what do you do, how did they get a hold of you?
All right, so two resources. If they want to know more about Book Yourself Solid, bookyourselfsolid.com. If they want to know more about me, walthampton.com.
Very cool. That is super cool. On that note, Walt, thank you so much for spending the time with me this morning, and to all the people that listen. And for you guys, if you got value out of this video, please like it. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time with another episode of the Webcast. Thank you.